Good morning, and how are you? I want to begin my subject with the phenomenon of why white people and the media are petrified of the religion of Islam and the Muslims. Now, a lot of people will scream before I even finish my sentence. They will scream in defiance and denial. However, I will put forward a challenge and powerful evidence that will contradict the emotions of those who are in defiance that they are not afraid of Muslims or Islam. The evidence politically, socially, especially in regards to freedom of speech, is forever before us. You cannot criticize Islam. If you do, not only will the Muslims punish you, but the English and American law will punish you. In other words, the European laws are now in favor of protecting Muslims. Now, this phenomenon becomes widespread when it infringes upon freedom of speech. Charlie Hebdo, who did the cartoon of the fake leader Muhammad, I think they killed numerous of the Muslims. Terrorists killed numerous of their newspaper editors, cartoon editors. They went into the building with rifles and they shot down all the editors. Now, this is a religion of peace, which the media, the terrified media and the terrified governments are forcing upon the dumb, thick masses that Islam is a religion of peace. But you try criticizing Islam. If you really buy into this nonsense, I dare you, go to any mosque and criticize their fake leader, Muhammad. Even the moderate Muslims themselves, who claim to be a friend of the West, the moderate Muslims themselves will cover up your crime. They may not participate in killing you, but they will keep their mouth zipped. And should it come to surface you've been killed, the same hypocrite moderate Muslims, Islam is peace, but knowing they knew you were killed, but they covered up the crime. That explains the psychology of moderate Muslims. They benefit from terrorism, even though they may not do it themselves, but they keep their mouth shut. They're protecting an Islamic institution. I sidedress. Regarding white people being terrified of Muslims and Islam, you cannot even dialogue with a white person these days about terrorism. They get terrified. You can't say that. Oh, they start shaking. Have you ever seen those sweets you can buy in the shops? The Jelly Belly. They start shaking, And these are white people. They start shaking when you begin to discuss, and quite rightfully so. You have a right to discuss terrorism that's happening in your country, but no, white people start getting scared. The white people have met their match. I'm shocked that the end of white civilization has come to an end. I've always predicted to my brother years ago that hardcore feminism would destroy the white race. But of course, hardcore feminism is a contributing factor. But I never saw Islam coming, because Islam was sleeping in the background. Muslims were not in the forefront at the time. It's a new phenomenon of Muslims now stretching their muscle. Muslims overnight are taking over Europe. Before, in the 1980s, you never heard this nonsense. Then suddenly the law said you can't criticize Muhammad, you can't criticize this, and suddenly it became a wholesale where people start to brainwash themselves. Oh, I can't criticize Islam. Many white people out of sheer fear are converting to Islam. Many white people out of sheer fear. Now, while we can't criticize Islam, what's interesting is that Christians are being killed in Muslim countries, yet the same white Western world turn a blind eye to it. Why is it Christians can be killed in Muslim countries and moderate Muslims are quiet about it? Moderate Muslims have nothing to say about it, and yet Christians can be killed. So you get offended when somebody attacks your immoral leader, yet you have nothing to say when Christians are being persecuted in the millions around Muslim countries. The freedom of speech, alleged freedom of speech, because we have no freedom of speech, where we delude ourselves that we're free, but we're not. If you really think you're free, go on the street and attack Muslim terrorists, and they will come for your white lily ass. They'll come and arrest your white pale ass. They won't come for the Muslim terrorists, they'll come for you. You really think you're free? Go out there and attack Muslim terrorists and come back and say, Jijat, Journey, it's just and truth, you're lying to me. Go out there and attack Muslim terrorists and come back and tell me the police haven't arrested you. If you really think you're free, why is it that we can't speak the truth anymore? Islam and the religion of Islam has benefited from our so-called freedom, because they now claim they have a right and a freedom to practice their religion. And notice, they use that right, turn it around. They have a right to propagate Islam. They have a right to insult Jesus and call him a normal man or prophet, the same level as they, dirty leader. They have a right to offend Jesus, but you can't offend Muhammad. And this is what's happening. The Muslims are exploiting our freedom for their own wicked ends. Muslims don't fear death. The white man does. The white man is petrified to die. The white man loves his family. The white man loves his white woman. The Muslim, the only thing they love is death. And that's the reason why white people are scared of Muslims, because white people know you mess with Muslims and they'll come and they'll blow your ass. They're gonna mess about. You dare insult Muhammad. Did you know in prison, which is my next subject, many white people are becoming Muslims for protection and extra food? That's my next subject. You want to subscribe? Please subscribe. This will get hot and heavy. If you're not a coward, please subscribe. If you're not a scaredy cat, right? Many white people now are terrified of Muslims. Maybe that's the reason why you won't subscribe, because you're terrified of them, right? So bad that many are converting to Islam. White people love their families. White people love their lives. Muslims, the only thing they love are 5-year-old brides and death. That's the only thing that Muslims love, is the cult of Islam, and they will die for it. You can't deal, or even you can't threaten people like that, people who think that dying you're going to get 72 virgins. They want to have sex with 72 women. This is what Muhammad promised them. When you kill, you get 72 brides in gender, in paradise, waiting for you. And these Muslims, they think about sex. They think about sex. So they'll kill you to get sex. Look, the power of sexuality. You go to nightclubs and you'll see people fighting. You know, they're fighting over. This policeman told me that 95% of fights that happen in the clubs are over sex. Over sex. Islam, they kill for it. People will kill in the name of sex and lust. It's a sickness. It's a disease. You can't control yourself. Muslims or Islam will never be able to live amongst the West and integrate. They can't. And I'll tell you why. The way they live their lives, their culture, their lifestyle is totally different to the West. In Wolverhampton, there is a sauna, a public swimming pool, leisure centre, and the Muslim women have to come on another day. And I'm thinking, wait there, you chose to live in the West. What the hell are you doing dictating, Western values? How dare you try to, when Christians are killed in your countries just for practicing their faith, you then come to a Christian country, or if you like, a Western country with Western values, and you try to change it. Did you know you cannot go into Mecca unless you're a Muslim? The government, they all know this. Nobody can go to Mecca. You go to Mecca, you'll be killed. Moderate Muslims will kill you. But it's interesting, they can come to the West and dictate our laws, our values, and because we're scaredy cats, because we're all mouth in secret. If I said to you, let's build an army and let's challenge the Muslims who are implementing Sharia law in America, in London, going around the streets, let's have our own army and let's fight, I guarantee you most of you wouldn't even join me. You would wait until the day of reckoning when it's too late and half of you already convert to Islam out of sheer fear. Well, I'm not afraid. I've studied the Bukharis, the Hadiths, and the violent Quran to know that Islam is a death cult, nothing more than a spiritual orgy, and very racist, extremely racist. I've made videos recently, Muhammad having black slaves, Muhammad being a hater, a paedophile, a terrorist, a misogynist, into incest children. How can any normal white person or black person want to follow Islam other than they're petrified of them, they're scared of them? The end of the white race will be Islam. Muslims don't fear death. White people do. White people have a life. White people have beautiful, loving white wives, beautiful white children, a beautiful white civilization. White people have a lot to lose. Muslims do not. You offend Muslims and they'll come after your family, they'll come after your editors, they'll even go after Buckingham Palace. Why do you think your government are bowing down at the feet of Islam? Your government, they've studied them and they know they can't deal with a death cult. People who pray to death and worship death, following death. You got more to lose, and you know why? Because you're scared of death. The only people I admire, even though they have their faults, but the people, they should try to recruit black people, but the people I admire are Britain's First. I would join Britain First because I know Islam, and I would give them a fight that I'll never forget. Britain First, to my knowledge, only have 2,000 members 2000, which are based in the UK. This tells you how cowardly white people have become. We've become politically correct. We've become brainwashed. White people have become weak. You talk to any white person now, you can't get any sense out of them. They got no logic. They're so scared. Oh, may I have a cup of black coffee? He said a B word. The white man becomes scared. Good morning, dear. It's been sexist. I can't say dear. Hello, sir. Sir, I'm not a sir. I'm a woman. Oh, you look like a man. The white man's become scared. The white man has fallen for these strange minority groups, minority sickness, that he hasn't got the strength anymore to deal with Islam. The white man, when he was great, the white man would have took down Islam. But all these minority groups, political correctness, LGBT, hardcore feminism has messed up the white man that he can't fight anymore. The white man has become a bitch. The white man has become the Muslim bitch. The feminist and the LGBT has raped that white man, turned him inside out. He doesn't know whether he's coming or going. The white man has become a joke of the world. Before, when the white man was great, he would have took down Islam. He never called them Muslims, he called them Mohammedans. What they blinking worth? Mohammedans. Worship Muhammad. But the white man's become scared now. And it's because of your fear. Why Muslims will conquer you. They will take you over and ravish your wives, ravish your mothers and your daughters and your sisters. If you don't wake up now, you're finished. I dare you. Laugh at this video. I dare you. The Muslims are coming for you, backed by oil-loving Western government. They will plot your design for the sheer lust of oil and greed. That's why when Saudi Arabia recently killed, I can't remember who they killed, and Theresa May still sucked the Arab big dick. Theresa May still sucked the Arab big dick. She didn't care about Saudi Arabia, you know, funding terrorism. She never cared. Just give me your big dick. That dirty whore, that whore of a prime minister, I dare you, take me to court, any of you, take me to court. She's busy sucking a Muslim dick to care about Christians being killed. Not one Western government ever cared about Christians being killed. Take me to court, any of you. I'm waiting for you, you goddamn cowards.
You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.